My name is Christina Collins. Before meeting with my client, I have made a list of things to be aware of, such as cultural consideration when making assessments, diagnosing, and treating a minority client. My client is an Hispanic male with the presenting problem of loss of job, which has led to depression and alcohol abuse. There are 4 things that I will be taking into account for my session with Mr. Quesada. The first consideration would be some cultural considerations, which could include the following. Identify the phase in which my client is in according to the racially, culturally identity development model. What beliefs are held about the mental health process? What are some of the stigmas associated with seeking mental health professionals and being diagnosed with a mental illness? And how often does Hispanic male seek treatment? Also, I would like to learn more about the family dynamics, the values, and the client's worldview, which would be necessary to aid me in making an appropriate diagnosis of the problem and treatment plan. A second consideration is to compare and contrast taking an etic approach versus an emic approach. An emic approach, a client at the conformity stage would be treated, assessed, and diagnosed like the dominant culture. So I would focus more on the depression and the alcohol abuse, and minimize or exclude talking about the loss of job. I would diagnose the problem as being an internal problem. Whereas if I chose to use an emic approach, a client at the resistance and immersion phase, I would focus more on the loss of job, and I would also diagnose the problem as an external problem. A third consideration to be taken into account would be my ability as a therapist to establish trustworthiness, credibility, and expertness. I would like for you to focus on, in this next clip, my introductions, my ability to use proxemics in giving the clients control over whether I sit far away or closer. Also, I would like for you to pay attention to the setup of the office. I used a small coffee table and a lamp instead of overhead light, so that it wouldn't feel like an investigation, and I wanted it to feel warm and make it more conducive so that he would talk to me and confide in me, and he would trust me and believe that I was here to help him. And the fourth consideration that I would like to talk about is the didactic combinations, which include over-identifying with the client, encountering clashes in the cultural values, and dealing with the stage in which the client is in according to the racially, culturally identity development model. You will see and hear more about the didactic combinations in the following clip and the narration. Let's take a look.